two, three, four.
We've been friends.
Most of our lives. I had a couple of kids.
I've had a couple of wives. We'll
We
talk
talk
about the
about the
shit
shit
we
we
think
think
we
we
know.
know.
Back and smile. It's a Spike and Cat show. Oh, hey, welcome to the Spike and Cat show. It is, let's see, November 23rd, day after Thanksgiving. Yeah, a great day to be alive. Let's kick this off here. So, as you just heard the theme, this is the Spike and Cat show. A show that I'm doing here with my really good friend Spike. We've known each other since fifth grade, and yeah, you'll hear more about that at some point in time, I'm sure. But yeah, we've been yeah, like we say in the song, we've been friends for a long time, and we're just talking about the shit we think we know, having a good time, and keeping it real. So anyway, without further ado, today with Spike here, we are going to be talking about gratitude is the topic. So let me kick that over to Spike, and yeah, here we go.
Check it out. How you doing,
I
Cat?
got
Nice.
super too like official kind of or
Dude, you
something.
did. You got really kind of puckered up on me. I thought that was pretty cute, bro. Sweet as hell. That's awesome. So, anyways, yeah, Kat. So, we're gonna do a topic of the week every week. One funny thing that we've kind of decided is we're not gonna talk all the time about topical things because there's a timestamp on all the things that we do. But by the same token, a lot of the stuff we thought it would just be fun to kind of talk about the shit we enjoy in life, right, Kat? I think that's a pretty
Yeah,
fair way to describe it. And
totally.
so,
Yeah.
so like Kat mentioned, this week we're going to talk about gratitude. And we also have a new segment that we really enjoy to visit called Dick Bag of the Week. We're going to have our viewer mailbag, and then we also have Cranial Colon Dislodge is our sponsor, Cat. And I know you know how proud I am of our affiliation with Cranial Colon Dislodge, and but we'll talk more about that later. But like I said, our sponsor of the week is Kat. We were going to talk a little bit about on the idea of gratitude. You were going to say something about last week's topic of love. What was there something you wanted to kind of piggyback off of that?
Oh yeah. On the cranial colon dislodge though, just so our viewers and listeners know as well. Face just anything right there for a half a second anyway. But no, but you anyway, what I'm trying to say is you'll be learning more about cranial colon dislodge,
Well,
but
you know what? I'm proud of it though, Kat. You kind of mentioned it, and I'm not ashamed of it. The fact of the matter is, and we'll talk more about the product later, but uh, I was part of the study for the people that struggle with cranial colon dysplasia. It's an epidemic. It's people call it having your head up your ass or whatever they call it. Yeah, yeah.
seldom talked about
It
epidemic.
is. It is. And people do have their head up their ass nowadays, and so cranial colon dysplasia is real and it's out there, and so the good folks at the Hope Company and the Spike Hope group and the Spike and Cat show, we all got together and we thought, well, let's tackle this, and so there's a product out there. I'm proud to be associated with it. You said you'd come on with the new national advertising campaign they're getting ready to put together, but yeah, I mean, cranial colon dislodge really addresses a problem that we have.
I kind of wonder what that might even taste good if you think
You know
about
what? The commercial that I was in actually addresses that, and
it.
that's a common misnomer. That's a common
Oh,
misnomer.
okay.
So yeah, we'll get into cranial colon dislodge here in a bit, and I'm
Yep.
excited to talk about it. But so, but you had some specific things you wanted to. Last week we were talking a little bit about love, right? And uh, you had something you wanted to say that you
Oh
felt
yeah,
like kind of tied
I
off of
do.
gratitude or whatever.
Yeah, just something more just to add to what we were talking about last week with love, and it actually goes right into gratitude. And when I think about love, and of course it's, I guess it's kind of easy and to get into this frame of mind with it being Thanksgiving and the holidays, but it's hard not to think about, you know, what or who or the things that you're thankful for, and also just the idea of when something happens, like, and this is where I was trying to go to with all of this as well, and it's hard not for it to be kind of a theme in my mind, having dealt with it for the last week. But the fires out here in California, and the, you know, the, while they're happening, and then the repercussions, that will keep coming, you know, as weather changes, and everything else. But um love being that, people are more than willing, and when they are able as well to, and even if they're not, you know, that's on a scale of how able you are to help. But the fact that people will go out of their way or do anything that they can to come together to support people, to help people. I mean, you can look at so many things that have happened across, um, the world, really. But I mean, just, you know, for right now, the idea of the California fires, I don't know, it just made my heart feel really good. And it's those little things that you see, and I mean, social media helps us to see those too, where like there's a firefighter and there's a cat that like will not leave his shoulder
Oh,
because
that's
like
super cute.
saved the cat, right? And I mean, it's like otherwise the cat would be, you know, who knows. And it was part of the, you know, and so it's the stories like that, and it's just a good, I don't know if a reminder is the right, but it definitely puts you in a frame of mind, or also, um, just helps you to remember, you know, kind of the small things too, and why we need to take that step, and you know, and the whole idea about love and gratitude. I think that leads into this idea that we've been talking about, or that we've wanted to talk about, is with gratitude as well. So,
Well, it's just
yeah,
interesting because love is literally something you exhibit for or with somebody else. You know, I mean, yeah, you can love yourself, but really, I think what we were kind of talking about was what is love, and it's such a wild thing. It's funny because without it, you know, it's amazing what happens to people who don't receive love, kindness, whatever you want to talk about, and and so I think you're kind of talking about. It seems to me like the idea of community. That's the thing that I keep talking about, and that is actually one of the things I was going to say as far as the gratitude thing goes. Is that it's funny, but I know there's songs out there about it, but the reality is I've really found myself becoming super grateful for the kicks in the ass that life gives. You know what I mean? Like the surprising things that you didn't expect, or because like we've talked about before, but like you go through a hard time. Like these folks in their neighborhood, they never knew that their neighbor gave a shit about them necessarily. They maybe assumed it, but it really opens up opportunities for
yeah,
people to be kind and to
totally.
show compassion and stuff. And I think that as terrible as it is that people have to go through those things, it opens up opportunities for heroes and to show compassion and to show love. And that's the thing that's why when we talk about like what the world actually is and stuff, yeah, you know, it's the bullshit on the news and all that stuff, but it really is actually a lot more peace and love than what people think. And it's also, like we talked about last week, the thing that people crave the most. And I think that that's why, with this week being Thanksgiving, yeah, I do find myself kind of having, you know, it's easy to crack the jokes about the family stuff and all that. But, you know, the reality is that I do find myself being super grateful for the family that I have, for the people that I'm super fortunate to know, the, you know, just and without those experiences, I wouldn't be the person that I am now. Does that say that I wouldn't prefer some of them be different? Sure, sure. And but you know, at the end of the day, uh, being able to share love and be able to share those times with people, I got a song where I kind of talk about. Remember the lovers and the good times you've had, and it's the juxtaposition. It's the sweet to the sour. It's the good times to the bad times, and having, you know, if all you've ever had in your life was all great things, you know, God bless you, that's awesome, congratulations. But when you've had a juxtaposition, really helps the gratitude meter kick in. You know what I mean? I'm gratitude for you. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for you, Kat. You're sitting right here. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
also having experienced loss, gone through those types of things, it's like, no, it really does. It becomes pretty real to know that this is, you know, there's a lot of shit to be grateful for. And you know, that's the other thing, is that just playing off of the love idea you were talking about, is that even with this stuff, it's funny because when it comes to, at the end of the day, this is our show. What we talk about art, we talk about music, comedy, that type of stuff, right? And we're trying to find happiness in a world where a lot of people, it's fairly easy for people to be bummed out. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't know that I find myself being most probably grateful for family. What would you find? What would you say you're most grateful for, Kat? Besides you mentioned family. What's something or sorry, you mentioned the
Oh,
wildfires in the response to.
yeah, that's good because it does tie into that. I just actually thought about this really yesterday a lot, particularly when it started to rain as it has been now. It's one of those things that you take for granted, whether I think you know it or not. But when you actually sit down and think about it, or you look out the window and you see the people who are less fortunate and don't have it, and that's shelter. Like this idea of having shelter and being um, that safety that comes with shelter, and knowing that you have that to go back to.
Yep,
You know, like that's part that I think I'm most grateful for at this moment is just this idea that I have a key that actually turns the door,
for
you know,
sure,
turns the lock, that I can come back to my place. It's here. Everything, all my things that
for
I
real.
need or don't need or have are safe. But I, you know, so it's been very. That's where my mind's been going with being grateful and also I think along with that is with Thanksgiving and having friends that step in and um, that invite you, you know, to go over and share dinner or share a meal with their family and things like that. It's also that, right? I mean, it's that idea of that support system, right? So, and I think shelter is a form of that support system, but it's one that we don't, if you have it and it's here over your head all the time, I don't think it's not necessarily something that you sit down and go, hmm.
Oh yeah, but go without it. See, and that's what I was saying with the juxtaposition is spend one day without, and people don't really give a shit about something until they experience it. I heard somebody say, and maybe I think you and I were even talking about it, but humans are experiential. You know, we have to kind of experience it before we kind of give a shit about it and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what makes me grateful sincerely for those things. It's the juxtaposition. I'm already grateful for the peace and love, but when you don't have a little peace and love, boy, it really makes you grateful for it. You know what I'm saying? But it's funny
Yeah.
because you mentioned friends coming over for Thanksgiving, and I tried to cook my first turkey, and I got a small one, and I tried to follow all the directions. I do a lot of the cooking at our house and stuff. I like doing it. My grandma Mulaney was she was a chef and all this stuff. My mom loves to cook, and I just like to do it, right? But I had no idea, dude, and there was kind of a tight window because they had to go to another thing, and I was trying to land it right with all the extra things, but you know what I mean. And it kept dragging on, and finally I got it to the temperature where I'm like, oh yeah, I think it's good now and stuff. Well, lo and behold, I put the meat thermometer in a few different places. It's looking good, and I go to cut it open, and there's still blood, and I'm like, ah, oh, dude. And so, long story short, too late for that. But the the turkey situation went amiss, so we're having turkey soup tonight. So,
There we go, dude.
yeah,
Hey,
really
hey,
meaty
someone
turkey
gives you a
soup.
turkey, make it into dude, that's it. That's
Somebody gives you a late cooked turkey, turn it into, and be grateful you got some fucking soup to eat, you know. But anyways, no, that's funny, Cat. Well, it's interesting because on that note, I was, what's that?
I said I just was repeating and be grateful you got some fucking soup. That's what
No shit, for real, for real. That's kind of what we were talking
full
about, you
circle,
know.
dude. Full circle.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Um,
well, it was funny though, Kat, because it also made me reflect with we've got topics we're going to bring up from time to time, and Kat and I have been working on different variations for some time of this show, and one of the segments we've always appreciated was what we like to qualify as the dick bag of the week. And the dick bag of the week, Kat, can you kind of talk a little bit about what it takes to
yeah, do you have the
we're,
official scroll that I
we
can
do,
bring?
we do. I'm gonna let you introduce it a little bit while I get all the information pulled up for everyone. Okay?
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna read these unwritten qualifications.
You're not just making them up right off the top of your head, kind of, are you, Kat?
I'm gonna read
Or
them. I'm gonna be reading them off of this notepad that I may or may not have in my hand.
okay,
So, well, the dick bag of the week. I mean, it ultimately the dick. I mean, I guess it's kind of self-explanatory. But the dick bag of the week, it's not just somebody who rubs you wrong or rubs society wrong, or even it's not even just somebody who's crass, or but it's really that extra special stand out somebody who can just takes that idea of being a jerk and just quantifies it like nobody else can.
But I mean,
Um,
when you talk about a cat, when you talk about a jerk, you're not talking about like somebody that might just take your spot in line, right? I mean, Dick Bag of the Week is a level that, is it something that is it an award? Is it something someone should be proud of, or how exactly is it, like the Kennedy
well,
Center honors, or is it to that level, or?
I think we might have seen the graphic pop up for a quick second. So if you saw that, you probably realize that it may not be a positive. No, it's definitely it definitely is somebody who's just being. I think you could probably throw some ignorance in there as just being completely. Um, uh,
Does this person like
like
the
a bully, like I think bullies would be in that type of a category. Like the fact that I think for me, what he said is um, even if anything that is said is accurate or could be something that could be taken as like a lesson to be learned, or and I'm speaking of what he said about the fires and specifically, well, the one thing that he said, which is of course just very true. Happen.
I screwed up. Hold on, I didn't add the. Oh no, I forgot to do something. Damn it.
Did it stop recording though, or are we still
No,
recording?
we're still recording. So we got to go back to the first graphic of when it was Dick Bag of the Week, because I got to add something. So that's hilarious.
All right, rewind,
Okay.
rewind.
Okay. Now when I go to that one, you'll be able to hear it. Okay. So who's our first Dick Bag of the Week, Cat?
Oh, first, our inaugural dick bag of the week is Donald Trump.
Oh, cat, I fucked that
Really
up.
looking all chin in that picture. Uh, but I tried to do a callback on that one from the rewind. All right, we good now?
We're
What
good.
happened?
You
I
know
don't
what, dude?
understand what happened before.
Here's what happened is when you bring in a new shot, you have to add a new audio source with it too. Even if you clone a previous shot, sometimes it won't come over with it. And so what happened was when I put together this dick bag of the week shot, when I pulled it down off the satellite, it didn't have the audio codec connected with it. So for all the people that couldn't hear it, we're back, and we're back.
Oh, you mean so they literally couldn't hear us
Well, you know
talking.
what I think is going to be fun is it'll be like they'll be able to hear us, and then it'll,
That's
and then we'll be
beautiful.
back, and then it'll go,
That is,
and then we'll be back, and then. So,
that's
you know what
fantastic.
though, Kat? That's kind of the level of expertise that I think people have come to expect at the Spike and Cat show. You know what I mean? They see the high dollar production, they see the high dollar products that sponsor this kind of setup, and they think, how can we be a part of it? Really, I think is really what happens. I got to look at something here, Kat.
Well,
So,
I don't know if people have noticed from like where I'm at either, but I'm really trying to add to the production quality by, let's say, every time you cut back to when it's both of us or you cut just to me, I'm trying to either be scratching something, like picking my nose or like rubbing my eye. I'm trying to be so. I don't know if you got anybody's noticed that, but if you haven't, maybe keep an eye out for that
well,
because yeah,
it's
it's
those
right
little
up.
things. It's like you remember in Waiting for Guffman when she wanted to learn to look away and then look back. I've noticed a lot of like the news on the news. That's something you want to do is you kind of give it like the almost like somebody's over there or or the looking down over here and stuff. And so the nice thing is I'm distracted by all the other shit I got going on my computer. So like right there, it looks like somebody just came into the room. You know what I mean? You can be
Maybe they
like,
did.
I mean,
Maybe they did.
you can literally have it be like, oh yeah, thanks for handing that to me, and then, or actually, I'd want to go this way. Just a second, she's right. Oh, okay, thank you. Yep, okay. You know what I mean? And look at that. You can reach behind me though, Kat, but I can't. I'm limited. My
No,
my
wait.
portal only extends to there. This actually goes into like a black hole type of situation. Like right now, my arm is in the year 3333, the future. It's humid in the future. It's a little humid. See, you can
We're
you can
just
reach
having,
in.
I think it's pretty funny that, anyway,
You think what's pretty funny that the portals are overlapping?
that the portals are that way and that we're probably the only two people that are really, everybody else. That's just something like, fucking, that's just the way that cameras work. Anyway, so dick bag of the week. Um, Donald Trump. Uh, well deserved and oh shit, so did everybody get the explanation of what dick bag of the week is then,
Yeah,
Spike, or
lay it out there again, will you, Cat? Just quick. What do
yeah,
you feel? Why is Donald Trump?
let me grab the official scroll again with
Okay,
the official
okay,
qualifications.
here it is.
All right, so dick bag of the week. Oh yeah, so it's really, it's not just the person. See, did you see that?
Oh,
So
here,
it's not.
let me tell you something. Just a little inside baseball, Cat. Don't forget, the one on the right is the one that they see. This one's inside baseball, so they don't see that. They see that. See what I'm saying? There you go. See what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Okay.
what did you think I was looking at?
You were saying that I put this up earlier and I just had it sitting there, but it psyched you out because it's just sitting there. It's
Oh
not.
jeez,
See,
dude, someday I'll learn how this stuff works.
in baseball. So for everybody sitting at home, they're just like,
Somebody pull out like one or two tubes out of the inner
yeah,
tubes,
look.
please. Too many.
Just when the show couldn't be more self-indulgent, we do a bunch of shit that they the audience, if they are so kind as to watch, they can't see anyways.
I'm gonna keep scratching those, so we'll be
Look, we're
fine.
just wasting your
Scratching
time.
those itches.
Yeah, just
Okay, so dick,
so the dick bag of the week.
dick bag of the week. So dick bag of the week. I mean, the name is a little bit self-explanatory for it, as I said earlier, in case that did work or not. But the dick bag of the week. It's really a person in our wonderful society and the well, currently the globe in which we live, who not only they're really a standout, they go above and beyond, they work really hard at this, but it's not something that you want to accept or you want to get. It's not an award that you want to get excited about or even want to be a part of, really. But it really somebody goes above and beyond that idea of being an absolute jerk or just a bully or a combination thereof. And um, yeah, Spike, did you have something you
Well,
wanted to say about?
why did you feel that it was vital that our dick bag of the week this week is Donald Trump? Was it specifically about him that you felt stood out? Because I thought your point was really important. In case that is all joking aside, in case that is something that was cut out, I thought you made a super important point about the wildfire stuff.
Oh, yeah. So just to get back to the dick bag of the week, so that's something that we're gonna do here on the Spike and Cat show. And yeah, it's where we talk about why, the who's the dick bag of the week, and we give a little bit of this and that on why we think that. And so it's as I said earlier,
But what
with
you were saying about Trump with the
yeah,
wildfires and stuff, you
yeah.
know.
So with that and the wildfires out here, Trump came out here and there were a couple things. One of the things is that in when he was talking about the area that was burned in the wildfire, he called the paradise pleasure, which that's such a I mean it's odd in and of itself that that's almost just becoming like a classic move. Like it's like that's not that's not even really like, oh, of course he did, but I think the bigger point that I'm trying to make, and what really puts him and propels him into this category, into the dick bag of the week, is um that that what he said about the idea, while you're standing in the rubble, while you're standing in this area that is burned and is burning,
People still
and
missing everything.
you talk about things like what shoulda, woulda, coulda been done. Like, well, people would have raped, or I know that in other countries and da 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 da. And it's not about the idea that okay, so what you said in the right context, in the right place, in the right time, could probably add something to a bigger conversation of, oh yeah, there's things that could be done different or done better or done well, and but when you're standing there, and it goes back to gratitude and what we were talking about with gratitude, Spike, and it goes back to that perfectly. When you're standing there and all those people need is love and support and something that they can wrap themselves around to help them get through that next moment, they don't need at that moment somebody to stand there and talk to them about how if they would have done a better job of raking.
You know, and that's the wild thing about it, Kat, is that I find myself sitting there thinking like, I feel confident that some people have regret in supporting him. You know what I mean? I do. I really do. I think some people even thought like, okay, yeah, and it's hard for me to understand how they can genuinely sit there and see uh, those types of behaviors and think like this is appropriate. Well, it's also so the timestamp on this is it's the day after Thanksgiving 2018, right? And
Yep.
there was a journalist killed in Saudi Arabia that was basically speaking out against the Saudi kingdom. And I'm not an expert on all of the stories and stuff, but basically, this gentleman was killed. It appears at this point, and the CIA has just put out a report allegedly to the president saying that it goes all the way to the highest levels, the crown prince and all that stuff. And we have a president right now that's saying that well, whatever the excuse is, that I think isn't being intellectually honest about it for what appears to be only a military gains and military contracts. So that whole thing of Leary, the military industrial complex stuff really kind of stands out where it's like, you know, uh, and that's super distressing because that's somebody's loved one, that's somebody's dad, that's a journalist, and after already marginalizing like the whole thing is I think you know, and cue the patriotic music, whatever, but I was born or raised to truly be patriotic and grateful for the things that our country gives us and stuff. And so when people use like false patriotism or you know, wherever you stand on wars and things like that, the difference between wars and vets is that the difference between the water and the sky. I mean, the vets are people that had to fight in wars, and
Yep.
not all of them are doing so well from it. And so, if that's what they were called to do, and we asked them to do that to protect our freedom, the reality is that people using that as like a patriot, or I mean, I'm not a patriot, but like as a political football is really offensive to me. It really is. And so for him to be so disrespectful to military families, to be so disrespectful to so many things that his party is supposed to supposedly be so adamant about,
Yeah.
it makes me, it's scary to me. And that's where I think for the dick bag of the week, it's sort of like, yeah, you know what, it's a joke, totally a fucking joke. But the reality is it's like, man, I want to reserve the dick bag of the week for those special people that it's a very exclusive club. Like I would argue it's like the Vince Lombardi Trophy for the NFL or whatever. You know what I mean? Like we might initially have to go on to call this the President Trump Gold Award or whatever, Gold Gilded Award or something. But I think it's kind of like Top of the Pops type of deal. He, in my opinion, gets the dick bag of the week mark until somebody else jumps into that and they have to really kind of step up their game to do it. You know what I mean? I wonder if that might be, but at any rate, that's my 50 cents on the dick bag of the week thing, Kat. But you know, it's funny because one of the other things that's really frustrating for me is I've had other presidents in my lifetime that were confusing to listen to, but at least you thought they intended to say the right thing, where sometimes I feel like I need some type of a device to understand what the hell is he trying to say. I can't even understand, like, is he genuinely saying what he's trying to say or what it appears he's saying? Because if he is, you know, like a year and a half ago, that would have been incredibly offensive. but our parameters have been moved so much, and that to me is a little bit scary that they just changed it moved the needle that much, you know. So, but anyways.
Totally, dude. Another person just came in. I don't know if you noticed, but I've got like 35 people in my apartment now. From me, they just keep coming in, dude.
Is that right? Yeah.
I just did one of those again.
So yeah, no. Well, you know, I thought it was the stink lines coming up off the. They didn't freak you out so much. I love that freaks out. There's nothing there, Kat. There's nothing there. Well, hey, Kat. You know, the other thing was that. You know, we got a mailbag letter that I think kind of is real timely for this time of the year. Like I said, it's
dude, we got a mailbag letter.
We do
already. Second episode.
Well, yeah. You know, I mean, but that's the kind of viewers that we have on the Spike and Cat show. They're dedicated, and they, you know, I think they're the kind of viewers that can see into the future. You know what I mean? They see something before it's really coming, and I think this letter kind of speaks to it. So I thought you would have a specifically good take on it. So I thought, okay, here it is. Viewer mailbag. Okay, here it is. Hey, Spike and Kat, love the show. Been listening and watching for years. Love the monthly newsletter. So, you know, he's been listening and watching for a long time, Kat. You know, so that's pretty nice. Loves the monthly newsletter. Have we gotten a newsletter out yet, Kat?
I'd love to actually see the newsletter that he's talking about. That'd be pretty amazing. I bet it's good. I'm pretty sure it's solid. But
yep. Well,
how you got a hold of one?
Well, and that he's been a long time listener, watching for years. That warms my heart. That warms my heart. You know.
That is really nice. That's true dedication.
Well, and the thing, a lot of people are probably sitting out there thinking like, how in the hell has he been watching and listening for years if this is only their second show? But the thing I would remind everyone is this is on the internet, and everyone knows if it's on the internet, Kat, it's real, right? I mean, like, that's how the internet works, right?
Yeah. I mean, we're actually thinking the same thing, so don't worry.
Yeah. We're actually thinking this.
We're wondering some of the same things.
I think it comes through the portal, because some of these emails I think come through from like the future and the past, because like up here you reach for the future, and then down there you let the past go like down there. You know what I mean?
The
Kind of.
past stays down, like you just shove the past.
Yeah, it
Just
goes downhill. That's how you let it go. When they're always saying like let it go, that's because like if you let it go here and it was uphill where the future is, it'd roll into you. So you let go of the past and it goes downhill. It's a whole thing. They got instructions taped on the other side of it right here. You can see it.
get into that a little bit more in another episode.
No,
I feel like
portals.
A bit more.
So if you don't know about portals by now, I mean, I feel bad for you. But anyways,
I feel like there's a little bit. I'm gonna go to the young demographic again this show, and I'm gonna say I feel like there's a little bit of who's on first, what's on second in that scenario there.
if there's one thing that brings the kids in, it's black and white talkies. Okay, so the letter goes on.
Well, already, dude, come on.
Yeah.
All right.
So he goes on to write. You know, with family. So he was saying what was he saying here? Oh, love them monthly newsletter and so on. He goes, you know, with family they tend to say some stupid shit that's hard to wrap my head around. I find myself dwelling on that shit for weeks after the holidays. What can I do to pregame for a strategy to not let them get under my skin? Thanks, distressed in the Midwest. Oh, so he's doing it kind of like Dear Ann or whatever, or what was
Dear
that cat?
Abby.
Dear Abby, yeah.
Dude, another wonderful John Prine song. Throwing it back to old John Prine.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Dear Abby.
Okay, so you got any tips for him, Cat? Distressed in the Midwest.
Let's see, off the top of my head, I do actually. I think we can help this. I think we can help this guy out, and I think we can probably help a lot of other people out too. If I'm not, so first suggestion, which this one actually would not be my go-to, just because it can. Well, no, the first option, like I said, not my like go-to is just drown it in booze. Like just keep. Going back, if it's wassail, if you got to go in and get your own bottle and just have a little sneaker, a little short snort every now and then or whatever. So that's an option. That's always an option. I think I don't, because it's family. You can't. The avoidance can only happen so long. But I think with that though, and this is the option that I've always liked when it comes to this, and especially around the holidays. If you know what, you do a little pregame, right? You do a little pregame, you scope out the scene, you either find out, like if you're in a family where there's like a group of like kind of smokers, you kind of maybe get in with them, even if you know, and then you'll get why here in a second. Or you find that little nook or that little spot you can kind of dip out to where nobody notices.
Shelter belts.
Out there, and you punch a oneie. If you don't know what that means, punching a oneie, you can, I could also say we smoke a joint. You hit the vape, whatever. But yeah, that you get out, you take a little moment. Like I said, if you got relatives that are cool with that stuff, and you can dip out when they're going to have a cigarette, make it really super. Like, oh no, I'm going out to talk to old Uncle Bill about some stuff. Yeah, we got we head out to the garage with old Uncle Bill. Oh, that's great. Head out there. So that's in the best scenario.
So an exit strategy to
find an exit strategy. And go out and take a little toke, and you just roll right through. What do you think about that, Spike?
You know what, man? I would say, you remember how we were talking for a while about building that piece of technology, kind of developing that product? I think you know the one I'm talking about, Kat. I mean, with the holidays coming up, we've got our show sponsor, Cranial Colon Dislodge and stuff. And I think one of the things that you and I like to talk a lot about is that, sometimes we tend to be the nice guys, peace and love. You know what I mean? We ain't trying to hurt nobody, right? But sometimes, the ne'er-do-wells and the smugs come along, and it just kind of, they'll say shit that I don't know how to process it. It's just kind of gets jumbled up in the old canoodle. So I sit there and think about it. I'm thinking, well, if we develop that technology, you know what I'm talking about. So without further ado, I think I'm just going to announce it, Kat.
You're talking about okay. So it goes directly in with this. I think. Oh yeah, I think I do know what you're talking about.
The studies. Remember, we partnered up with the universities and the scientists. They developed the whole algorithm, and so basically, what it is, Kat, and I'm really excited to show it here. I'm going to put it up here. Basically, what you got here is this is called the Spike and Cat Show, and It's the Spike and Cat Show decoder ring. So what you see it does here, can you see this, Cat? What it does here, and I'm really excited to show this because this will be available on our website, but this is actually the prototype here. But you can see, so what you do, Cat, is let's say, for instance, well, here, I got an idea. How about, so we're talking about his problem here, for instance. You give me an idea, and I'll kind of walk you through on how it all works and stuff. What were you going to say, Kat?
Okay, I can do that. I can. Well, let's try and kind of keep it with our meal. Okay, so let's do this. So okay, we're at Thanksgiving dinner, and great old Uncle Delbert's kicked in. He's put a little bit more Irish whiskey in his third coffee than he thought he did. And we're getting to the end. We got that break before dessert, and all of a sudden he just starts spouting off, and he's saying, "Oh yeah, you know, these days you don't know if the kids, if it's you got a boy or a girl, or where you go to the, I don't know where to go to the bathroom, and I'm trying to," and you're sitting there just with your hand in your face, just wondering, what can I do? So that's when.
See, that's where this technology comes in, Kat, because the scientists, what we did was we kind of came up with a series of topics like that. So what you do, let's say, for instance, and so a lot of people, they're going to say, well, first, right off the bat, oh, Spike, that looks confusing. I got to figure, okay, I can go this way with it. There, okay.
That's perfect.
So about right there, right? Okay,
yep.
So here's the deal, is that people are going to say right off the bat, well, Spike, that looks confusing. You can't even really hold it, right? And I'll say to them, well, I'm looking at it backwards. So that's one problem. So it's kind of like what's on this side's on that side, right? But the point is, people say it's confusing. How do I use it? Well, you know how to spin a circle, right? You know, and the other thing is that what is so nice about it, Kat, is you can't do it wrong. See, it was developed by a team of therapists also. So they're not trying to sit there and have you think that you don't need to go pulling this out. And the nice thing is it's discreet. So let's say, let's use your great Uncle Delbert. He brought in, we've got, what would you say, was there a little religion in there? Little religion, right?
Sure. Yeah, I think everything. Everything he spouts off about at some level has some religion.
Okay, and then there was maybe a little politics in there. Definitely some sexuality, right? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to spin it around so that the torso of the gentleman with the cranial colon dysplasia, this gentleman, what happens is the torso is pointed here to religion, and then you've also got a point here with the groin pointing to politics, and then you've got the feet down here, and that's pointing to, let me get it in screen there, that's pointing to sexuality, okay? Now what you do is you rotate that, hold that there, and you spin that around, and you say, well, what's your base instinct here? So you've got, let me walk you through some options. You've got run away, okay? So Delbert's freaking you out, just run the fuck away, right? You got walk away. That's kind of like, all right, bro, well, nice seeing you. I'll talk to you. Oh, somebody wants me in the kitchen, you know what I mean? That deal, just kind of a nice smooth walk. Like, I ain't having it, but I ain't going to say shit. You can give it the look over there. So look over there is kind of like, oh, that's interesting. Oh, look at the curtain. And then Delbert looks at the curtain. You know what I mean? So that's the look over there. You got the stuff it in. I think we're all familiar with the holiday stuff it in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, my aunt, actually, a great old Uncle Albert's wife will tell you all about the stuff it in.
What? She's a proponent? What'd she say?
Oh, she would just tell me, like, I don't know why you even try to go. You just get this, stuff that on in there. Don't even
think about it. See, and that's the problem. Cranial colon dysplasia, I think, often happens from people stuffing it in there, and then that's where the lubricant comes in. And so you got look over there, you got stuff it in, you got poke at it. Poke at it's an underrated strategy. But let's say then you start kind of poking at Delbert and maybe say, oh, you didn't know I was born as a woman or something like that. You know, just kind of put a quarter in it, see what it does. That's always a strategy, you know. But you know, you don't want. Just make sure you keep.
Too hard.
Yeah, not too hard. You know, especially you got to keep age and all that stuff in consideration. Pretend you're napping at the holidays. That always comes in handy, you know. Or you can even, like, mid-conversation, just kind of pretend like your power went off. You know what I mean? Like, if you ever start grinding on me, Kat, I might just kind of start using that one, because the scientists behind this, they were like, that is underutilized. Like, right there, Kat. See, I don't even know if you can hear me right now. Were you listening to me, Kat? See what I mean? That's a
That does
powerful
work. That actually does work really
right
well.
away, right? You know what I mean? It's just like he wasn't even listening. Okay, so pretend you're napping. Go big. Go big's an option. You know what I mean? Like that's
Like that's just what? Give me. Is that just
well. So it's like what you yes, well like what you're thinking. So poking at it, you're just trying to get a reaction out of them. With go big, think like George Costanza. You're flailing. You got arms flailing. You're airing grievances. You're letting people know. You know, volume, lot of volume. Maybe if there's a table to pound on, this is where the gravy gets tipped. You know what I mean? That's going big. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Okay.
This is where glass gets broken. This is where
Glass gets
something.
broken. This one, the scientists from the institute that helped us develop this technology, they took your advice specifically to have a toke. Just that, you know what, Kat? That's underutilized too. Have an exit strategy. Just get the fuck out. Go. You know, dude it up a little bit, bro. You know, so that's it. Run away, walk away, look over there. So, anyways, so I've got it all lined up.
Don't we start with isn't something at the top and something at?
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. Well, see, you can't use it wrong, but there's preferred ways to use it. So what you'd want to do is you bring it around. So you got it all pointed the way we were talking about: politics, religion. You've got sexuality there, and then you've got it pointed, the star, the top of it, at have a toke, right? So what this is telling you is that, okay, well, if you're feeling strongest about politics, for instance, you got to go big. You got to go big with Delbert if that's the angle you're taking. If you're going religion on this one, run away. You know what I mean? You guys don't know your scripture. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. You're going to both be talking about bullshit that quoting, misquoting shit. Yeah. You might want to go big. See, that's the thing, Kat. There's no doing it wrong. You might feel like, no, it's pointing at go big on religion. See, and that's where there's no doing it wrong.
I just out a little bit.
Yep.
Get it. Yeah, there we go.
See, and that's where what then the feet, the one you don't want to do down here is stuff it in. Whatever you do, don't stuff it in, okay? So you don't put up with that shit. So I think you go back to what's your heart telling you, go big.
Yeah, I think we got to go big since we didn't get the toke, and I'll probably do that anyway. But yeah, I think in that situation with those being the options, I think that definitely go big. We'll go big. We'll hit them with it. We'll see what direction it goes in, and it might squelch the whole thing. Like if I do it right, I might just end it.
You might get Delbert bursting into tears, and then him finally saying, "I never felt like I'd be loved being who I am." And then he goes out to his truck, comes in with a beautiful outfit on, insists on being called Dolores. You know what I mean? It's like,
oh, wow.
You might be freeing people, Kat. You got to spread the love. You got to express that
holiday cheer.
Love everybody, and be willing to call people out on their bullshit. You gotta be willing. You gotta have the stones to call. But the other thing is, Kat, it's also adjustable. So let's say they're kind of like, you know how tarot cards are. They're. It depends on how you read them. You know what I mean? That's kind of the deal here too. Is that like let's say this person politically sits further to the right to you. Well, then you can choose. Okay, they're 180 degrees to the right of me, right?
Oh, can you slide her a little over there too?
Oh, yep. Okay, 180 degrees right. And now you can spin it back to politics, religion, sexuality, and guess what you're pointing at now, Kat?
What are we on?
Take a poke.
Oh, nice. See,
have a toke, dude. See, that's how it works right there. See, now it's at the top. And you might say, well, before we didn't do the one that was under the feet, but see, that's the difference, right? That's the one you'd rather do, right?
Yep, you really can't do it wrong. I think that's one of the key things about it, and that's what really makes it work as well as it does. Is that you can't. You really can't do it wrong. And I think that part of it too is like, sometimes when I look at it, it just kind of seems like it's just like pieces of like laminated cardboard that have been cut into circles and put together with a spinner, but I don't think that that's necessarily the case, is it, Spike?
Well, I mean, you mean some people will say that it looks like cheaply laminated plastic on cardstock?
Yeah, yep.
Well, It's technology though, Kat. That's what we're selling here. Is it's the technology behind. People will say that. People might say that. People will say that. You know, and when they'll probably, when they see the one that comes to their home, order it. All I can say is order it, use it through the holidays. If you don't like it, it's like, you remember, Kat, we have that same, when we talk about theology here on this show, because we get pretty deep into some subjects, a lot of people don't know. Remember, tell them about the money back guarantee. What were you saying?
That if what is it now?
No, well, if people want to buy into the Spike and Cat show guarantee gate to heaven, right? Guarantee gate to heaven. How it works is you send us $100, $1,000, whatever you want the guarantee to be, right? Yeah. And if you die and you don't go to heaven, you get your money back. We give it right back to you. You know what I mean? No questions asked. I remember when you were coming up with that, Kat, you were telling me how you thought that probably worked. Do you think that that's something we can do, legally speaking, or?
I almost thought that the original idea was that if you died and you did go to heaven, then you got your money back. Or am I wrong?
Well, see, I think it's either way. Either way, when you die, you send us the money now. We get you that kind of, it's like preferred seating. Think of it like Ticketmaster preferred seating. You know what I mean? Because we know a guy that knows a guy, and you know that.
Totally. And to go back real quick to, and the other thing that people need to remember about this decoder, the Spike and Cat show decoder, for it's not only for the holidays, and also remember it does have a spinner. So don't sell it short by any means, and you really can't do it wrong. But with that, Spike, this is a great opportunity. I just thought of this. Okay, so what do you think about this, dude? Holiday package, because like you said, our show's sponsored today by Cranial Colon Dislodge.
Oh, yeah.
Which we do need to quick say some more about that before we get out of here today. But what do you think about this, dude? Holiday pack to help people not only get through the holidays, but also help them start their year out and get into the year ahead in the best possible way they can. So not only do we throw in, the holiday pack consists of the Spike and Cat decoder and also Cranial Colon Dislodge. Boom.
Oh, dude, that is an excellent idea. So you're saying basically like try and throw it down. We got like. Remember before, every time I had a graphic? That's awesome. I caught it this time though, because I was like, oh shit, where'd the audio go? So if people think that I'm sitting here behind the scenes just clicking on stuff, you know, and like adding and trying to produce this at the same time, that's not what's going on. There's a whole other thing that's going on. I'm actually helping, we're working on a series of those studies there now there.
Oh my
now
God,
people
that was all on the screen during all of that?
Yeah, nice. You were on the screen. Well, Kat, somebody's got to be. And otherwise, you get this whole thing going on where I'm sitting here going,
Yeah, don't think that he's sitting there clicking a bunch of buttons and doing all that stuff.
I'm not.
There's a huge fucking like Wizard of Oz. Actually, it's more than that. It would blow your mind.
Team of engineers. We got satellite trucks. And you know, and that's the thing. So let's talk a little bit, Kat. So you're saying we'll have this on the website though, the Spike and Cat show, right? And I'm going to see
Spike and Cat Show, spikeandcatshow.com. Also on Twitter at Spike and Cat Show, and on Instagram the same as well. But yeah, jump on and check it out. Anyway, yeah, sorry, Spike.
Go I appreciate you putting that out there, because that's the whole thing, is that people will say, well, you know, how do you guys produce this level of excellence in terms of technology and stuff? You know what I mean? And it's like satellite trucks. We got the team engineers. We're developing technology. You know what I mean? We're developing products. The thing is, when you look at this bottle of cranial colon dysplasia or cranial colon dislodge, you know, a lot of people are going to say it looked a lot bigger online. Hey, look at that. You can see through it, Kat. A lot of people are going to say it looked a lot bigger online. And I'll tell you, that's not the first time we've heard that. Okay? But when it comes down to it, the thing is, really, this is, it goes right into it on the backside, and the directions are kind of specifically small to read. But when it comes to cranial colon dislodge and cranial colon dysplasia, I think your idea of sending these out as a combo pack for people, Kat, is a great idea. So they can go to our website then, and we'll have this up, and people can order this. And the like you were talking about before, people, Kat, are probably going to look at that Spike and Kat show decoder and say, whoops, they're probably going to say something like, what is he doing? Is what they'll say. Just a minute, Kat. There, I'm fixing something. All right.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, what the hell is he doing? Wake up, Spike. There, I just was fixing that for the viewers at home. I wanted them to be able to see.
You spin the decoder and go to the go to sleep, fall asleep thing again? Come on, man.
What's that?
Did you spin the decoder and land on the fall asleep thing again? I didn't realize I was saying anything that bad that you needed to just pass completely out. All right.
Well,
you're bad?
Yeah, I just fell asleep for a couple minutes. It wasn't. Oh, Kat, you know what? Actually, deep in the annals, guess what we came across? The original commercial for cranial colon dislodge.
Oh, hell yes.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, so
well, then we should play that. So because we haven't been able to tap into and get the word out about cranial colon dislodge yet. And so this is perfect. We can two something's one something else. So
two's one's one. What was that? Say that again.
I was gonna say two birds, one stone, but that said, so then I couldn't think of anything, so I just said two somethings and one something else.
Okay, well give me 1 second because I'm actually lining up a graphic for you, buddy.
I keep forgetting it's on me. One of these times I'm gonna pull a Costanza. It'll be on me. I'll have my shirt off or something. I won't know what's going on.
Because you forget that. Did I not tell you we were putting this out on the internet?
That's what I do.
I was gonna mention that, and then I thought that'll just make him nervous. He'll be fine.
Oh, we're good. I'm gonna drink some water out of this.
Okay. So anyways, Kat, yeah. So you were talking about cranial colon dislodge in the things that you love about it, right? And so without further ado, I'm gonna play for you the old commercial for cranial colon dislodge. I think you're really gonna get a kick out of this. Okay. So here we go. It's coming at you live.
What if I told you you had a disease so vile that though you may not feel a single symptom, it'll adversely affect you and every relationship you have for the rest of your life? I'm talking about CCD, or cranial colon dysplasia. Take a look at the person next to you. You can see it. Or better yet, take a look in the mirror, because this is a plight you may have. And though you may not know it, be certain your friends and family can tell. That's why we've developed cranial colon dislodge. It's a simple gel. Just apply to the problem area as needed, and watch and feel as your cranium slowly breaks free.
I always sensed that I had a problem. I was always asking everyone, what's that smell? Well, then my therapist suggested cranial colon dislodge. It really worked.
First, when I tried it, I thought, man, this stuff tastes terrible. Then I read the directions and I noticed it was a topical. That's when I knew cranial colon dislodge was right for me.
In a blind clinical test, we found that when used as directed, most patients saw immediate results. So ask your doctor, or ask your friends and family if cranial colon dislodge is right for you. Because if you don't know, they probably do.
Cranial colon dislodge, it's probably right for you.
There it is, Kat. There it is. Do you remember that blast from the past, right?
Yeah, that was a flash from the past, dude. I have been the world's greatest, worst straight man. I've just been laughing and galloping the hell out of this episode.
You know what, dude? You know what? We were cracking jokes. Sometimes that's the thing, is we take the good and we take the bad. We take them both, and there you have, the Spike and Cat show. Because we're cracking jokes and we get deep.
Facts of life, actually, but it can be the Spike.
Okay, I'll meet you in the middle. I'll say that does sound familiar. But my point is that at the end of the day, we were pretty deep there at the beginning, talking love, talking all that stuff, Kat. And it brings us around to that whole cranial colon dislodge thing, because the reality is, Kat, cranial colon dysplasia is an epidemic. I think, like the commercial talks about, it's really one of those things where, you might not know that you've got it, but your friends and family can tell. They can tell. And I just think it's important that people understand that, in this, when they're going back for the holidays, for instance. So your idea about having it be a gift pack, I mean, that's outstanding.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And if it's not necessarily for you, it's still for you in another way. In that it's, trust me, when you realize who that special person in your life who needs cranial colon dislodge, it will not only help them, but it will help you and others around you as well. So it really is one of those gifts that keeps on giving. In a lot of ways. Would you agree, Spike?
I would have to say, in terms of people understanding, I think a cranial colon dislodge. Yes, I was a part of helping develop the product. That's true. It says right on the jar. It says as seen on the Spike and Cat show, and but like it also says it's probably right for you. And what can I say, Kat? I mean, when it comes down to it, I think I got a good take on some things, but I can definitely think of some times where it's like, man, it hurts if you just straight up pull your head out of your colon. It hurts. You know what I mean? And you get your cranium jammed all the way up in there. Sometimes I don't even know how it happens. It'll happen mid conversation sometimes, where I'll just be sitting there cruising along, and all of a sudden it goes quiet. Everything stinks. I can't. It's dark. You know what I mean? My back feels contorted, and I'm like, oh no, oh I did it again. You know what I mean? I can feel it, and so
and now when cocoa butter scent, I think that's really we can't highlight that enough either. It's now with cocoa butter.
No, that's the level of detail that I don't think enough people realize. You know what, Kat? Here, I'm going to give people the good pleasure. Tell a couple of people the story about how happy you were when you first came across cranial colon dislodge. I want to get this graphic finished up here real quick. Can you tell people about what you were telling me before? It might seem like you don't remember it, but I'm sure you do.
Yeah, about you. Oh, yeah, about that one time. Remember that one time?
Yeah.
With cranial colon dislodge, like I was saying earlier, it actually spins off of that. Is you have, it happens to everybody, and it can be a moment. It can be something that actually can last for a long time, and I think that's part of it too that you need to understand is. Part of the reason why we have and why we want people to be using or considering using cranial colon dislodge is just for that reason. Like don't let yourself or don't let somebody you love go through life that way. Give them the help that they need. Give yourself the help you need in that moment when all of a sudden, cranial colon dysplasia again.
Head up the sphincter just like that. Kat, like a good example would be with your writing skills. Can you imagine somebody like not knowing how to spell the word probably, even though they asked you like not that long ago?
No, I really can't. I do know that there's a BAB in it.
BAB
in the middle.
Okay,
yep.
So because for like people like that, they'd be like, it's probably PROBABLY. Is that what you're saying? See,
yep.
Because that's one of those.
The way you spell it.
Probably. Okay. I was just wondering because when I was sitting here going through my graphics that I have up here, I remember. There it is, right there. That's how you spell it, right, Kat? I didn't even notice. Okay.
No, so you got two lessons in one. One is, and the big important one really is that cranial colon dislodge is available for you and your friends and family, but also how to spell probably.
And I was just using that as a for instance. That's kind of like one of those Freudian slips where you didn't really even realize. Somebody came from the future.
Nice.
Yep. So
I've had a ton of visitors. I have an apartment full of. There's at least. Let me look again. There's at least, if I count real quick, there's at least 37 and a half people here.
Well, Kat, some of the topics people can expect for us to talk about here in the future are portals. We've got the spirits, the stink waves. Look at this. Like we have some of the technology that we've kind of paid for here at the Spike and Cat shows. You'll notice over Cat's shoulder, what you're seeing right there is that is his spirit trying to release out of his body And what we have is we have a special filter that kind of Whoops, it's on this side. It kind of
That's what
monitors.
itches so much.
What's that?
That's what itches so much all the time. Where I'm scratching all the time because that's my spirit, my soul's starting to creep out.
And it's also the combination of that and then the microchip that the government has in our brain. It's the Wi-Fi coming in and out of that because, of course there's the microchip. Everybody knows about the microchip. But what they don't know is now they're all Wi-Fi enabled, and that's how a lot of the cities are going to be able to have these vast Wi-Fi networks is through the microchips. And again, people might say that sounds like some bullshit that you just made up right now, Spike. And I would say, well, it's on the internet. You know what I mean? Make your own conclusions.
And also, if you don't want to have to deal with that, or you want to find a way out of something like that, you can always get the Spike and Cat Show decoder, and right when that said, "Hey, give that thing a spin," and you can immediately be like, you know what? I'm gonna go big, and you could just get right up in there and go big, or you could decide, I'm actually I'm gonna run away because I just don't at this moment. Need to deal with that. So we always have those options too. But we're really putting things out there for the people to to really help them out with making it through this.
Oops. Oh no, I just did something. There it is. Okay, yeah. See, and Kat, I just wanted to pull that up. Okay, so there's the decoder. The
holiday package again.
Yep. So there it is, the holiday package. So I guess. I feel like we pretty much solved it here, Kat. I'm proud of this technology that we have here. People can go to the website to get all the information, right? Or how you feel and what's your thought?
Yeah, go to the website, Spike and Cat Show. Website, spikeandcat.com. Twitter, Spike and Cat, at Spike and Cat Show. Instagram, same. It's Spike and Cat Show. Website spikeandcat.com though, right?
That's right. And that's where people can sign up for the newsletter. They can sign up. They can get all of these fabulous pieces of merchandise like what we got here. Because people probably don't understand, but I kind of alluded to it earlier, Kat. But that's when you're sitting at home and you're wondering how do these guys afford this type of technology where they've got teams of scientists helping develop cranial colon dislodge, and they've got these are all Spike and Cat Show original products, and then you might just say, it looks like some cheap crap that I don't need sitting around my house, but I beg to differ. Why don't you order it, find out? You know what I mean? Don't go, what?
And also with the newsletter, like if you need something to read, like for your summer vacation that's coming up, or maybe you want to like send your kids off with like something at summer camp that they can read, there will probably be a newsletter around that time. So definitely sign up for the monthly newsletter if you're looking for something to read this summer.
I say this summer, and think of it like think of it as kind of like the New York Times meets like Mad Magazine. I would say I think that's a fair It has the journalistic integrity of the New York Times with the artistry of Mad Magazine. I would say. So like you said, Kat, they can go to spikeandcatshow.com. They can go to or spikeandcat.com. Why the hell did I do that? What kind of a dipshit? Everything else.
We did something different to confuse ourselves more than the listeners. So we've done a good job.
Yep. Well, we'll fix it someday. Probably not, but
no. Yeah. So. Definitely hold your breath for the newsletter. I think you'll be good there. And Spike, I think we did it, man. I think we might have answered pretty much all the questions, and even got to hopefully we're helping helping people out with this with these wonderful products that, like you said, have been tested and engineered.
Solving problems. We're solving problems, and the only thing I want to add, Kat, is just make sure people like and subscribe. Make sure they do all the things Kat was talking about. Look us up on Twitter, Facebook. For people that don't know, that's how you do it. But that's how we afford this incredible technology, is by people subscribing, doing all that, but primarily selling these incredible products that we have. And look for more of them in the future. Some of them you might find practical because they're real products, and some of them you might find as bullshit because they're bullshit products. But either way, they exist, and that's the thing. So.
And if you like and subscribe, I will promise I'll never do a thumbs up ever again on the screen for sure. All right. Spike, love you, man.
Love you too, Kat. Peace and love, bro.
All right. right, dude.
All right, let me get the theme song. Oh crap, I didn't. Oh, here's the theme song. Here you go. Okay, here you
That's
go.
all.
Okay.
Perfect.
Peace and love, cat. Hold on.
right,
Do,
yep.
do, 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 do. 1, 2, 3, 4.
We've been friends
most of our lives. I had a couple of kids.
I've had a couple of wives. We'll
We
talk,
talk
about
the shit
we think we know.
know.
Back and smile. It's a Spike and Cat show.